The Culture Pop Podcast is brought to you by the law offices of Jacob Emrani.
Accident or injury, call Jacob Emrani. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mase. If you or a friend or loved one is injured in an accident, the first person you should call is my friend Jacob. When I did this, Jacob was great. He helped me by talking through the next steps, which really put my mind at ease. When you're injured in an accident, you got to have an expert. That's why you call Jacob, just like I did. Call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB, or visit calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Culture Pop Podcast. I'm Steve Mason, along with Sue 𝐭𝐫𝐤𝐧𝐭, and this is the show where we talk about everything happening in the world of pop culture, and today, in the world of candy. Martin Starr, who's on TULSA KING, is going to join us, along with the Potash Twins. The three of them have a collab. They have created this candy called Sweet Stash Jams, and I have been eating it all afternoon long, Sue.
It's delicious.
It is really, really good. Here, we'll talk about it coming up, but it is fantastic. Sweetstash.com is where you get that. And we'll talk to Martin and the twins about that here in just a couple of minutes. First of all, Sue, I went to the Emmy Awards. Now,
I know, I saw
have
pictures.
never been to an award show before. You have, I'm assuming, right?
Bucket list check off. I've been to 3.
3. Which ones?
Twice for Top Chef and once for the Osbournes.
Okay. Nice. I was in the people, David Anderson, who runs Peacock Theater, put me in a great spot. Me and Juan in a great spot, like in a box looking down over everything. I thought I was just blown away by the entire experience. I especially liked when I first went to the can, somebody in the bathroom said, "Hey, I really like your work." And I was like, I didn't turn around because I figured this got to be somebody else. And he said, "No, hey, I really love your work." And I looked over, it was for me. I'm like, there are much bigger stars here. Why me? But it was very, very cool. And got to go to the ball afterwards. And the LA Convention Center was just, they tricked it out like crazy. I put some stuff on social media, but chandeliers and gigantic Emmys and great food from great chefs. And I didn't know this. When you win an Emmy, you can go to the ball afterwards and get your Emmy engraved. So, like, I saw Owen Cooper, who was the kid from Adolescence, getting his Emmy engraved. I saw Noah Wyle. I was bold in some situations. I actually introduced myself to people. I said to Noah Wyle, "Steve Mason, ESPN, nice to meet you, love your show." And I was like, yeah, and he was totally cool with it. So I was like, I'm not going to, we have this thing called turtling. We always talk about where, you get into a situation where there are people around and you sort of turtle and you don't really talk to. I did the opposite. I was just like, and I always find adding ESPN makes all the difference in the world. Steve Mason,
Absolutely.
ESPN, nice to meet you. It works.
Sounded like you were a reporter.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, what a douchebag move. I've got where is this? Got a picture of myself behind me. That looks lame. Does it not?
Not anymore.
It's like, damn, I'm in the me business. So, Sue Blue, what did you think of Nate Bargatze?
I liked him. I think he's really, really funny.
Why do you think the reviews, generally speaking, were so bad?
I don't get it. I thought that his monologue was very, very funny.
Was very funny.
The sketch was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like you kind of see where the movie Network and Patty Chayefsky was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
When you watch that, I thought it was smart. I thought it actually made fun of shows in a way where you didn't feel like it was like really insulting. Like the whole bear run,
Yeah, that was funny.
And then the stuff about who watches murders. You're like, who watches murders? It's like my wife, your wife. I mean, it was so smart, and he was great. I thought he was like his performance in it was perfect.
Will there be a channel for white people? Yes. CBS.
I mean, it was just to me it couldn't have been a more perfect sketch. And so on point for the Emmys.
Yes. Now, I did get tired of, at least for me, the running joke of the tote board with the how much money are we going to give the children's, the Boys and Girls Club at the end. I thought that it was like beating a dead horse at some point.
Yes. I mean, I thought the idea of it was very, very funny. Like when he opened and talked and presented what he was going to be doing.
Yes.
And then he was saying, well, don't be too good, because then, it's not really going to work out.
I'll have to pay more. Yeah.
I'll have to pay more. But yes, it definitely went on way, way too long. But I like him. I mean, I think he's charming and funny and
could not agree more. Could not.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this about the clock and all that stuff. I think it was in moments it was humiliating to people.
Yes.
It's like for example,
John Oliver.
John Oliver. Yeah. Hannah Einbinder. They just put the clock up behind him. Some guy thanking his wife and his family and all that stuff. And there's a clock up behind him and he's losing money for a charity. It's like, I thought just kind of humiliating the whole thing. It was a good bit at the start, but then he just kept going back to it. And, I really think that there should be a clock on the presenters. I thought the presenters were terrible. I thought the bits went on too long. I thought they weren't funny. Ike Barinholtz and Catherine Hahn, I don't know what they were doing, but it went on for like 4 minutes. It's like if you're going to give the presenters 4 minutes, give the winners a chance to actually thank everybody.
Yeah, and especially like John Oliver. I mean, he was talking about his dog, having to put his dog down. And it was like, really, can you pick a more unopportune time to like infuse music? And he was so funny. He said, oh, because it was like solemn music.
Yeah.
The music that they picked, he's like, oh, that's right on point. How perfect. But they don't read the room a lot of times. It's like, this is the mandate and this is what we're going to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the results?
I thought the results were right on. I mean,
I did too.
I got pretty much everybody right except for Severance, Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah. Britt Lower, I did not.
Britt Lower.
Yeah, I did not have her.
I love that she won.
Yes.
But everybody else pretty much. I mean, even Jeff Hiller. I picked him, and I know that it's
I've never seen the show.
I told you got to watch it.
I know. There's so many shows.
There's so many shows to watch. Yeah. I know. I'm so glad he won. I'm so glad. What's her name from the pit? Lanessa. What's her name?
Oh, Catherine Lanassa. Yeah,
Lanassa.
She was fantastic.
She was great.
That one, I actually stood up and cheered. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think she was going to win. I thought for sure she was going to lose to Carrie Coon from The White Lotus. She won. I was just like, yeah. Because when I first watched The Pit, I said to Juan as we were watching it, she must be a local Pittsburgh hire because she had a little bit of the Pittsburgh accent. And of course, I find out the show's shot in L.A. She's got no connection to Pittsburgh or the accent. She's just doing the Pittsburgh. I was like, that is so impressive because she sold me on the fact that she would be a local hire, which is amazing. She was great. And I didn't know she was married to Grant Show.
I know. I didn't know either.
Comedy, I thought they got right. Studio, I thought was always going to sweep. It's such a funny show. Adolescence had to win. I don't think I saw a more amazing directing performance as I saw in Adolescence. Stephen, his name is Stephen Graham?
Yes.
Stephen Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Was he the shortest person on stage?
Oh, that's so funny.
At one point, he walked out with his co-producer, and the other guy was really tall, and Stephen Graham said, we're not doing Twins 2. But it did have that
that's so
look
funny.
To it. It was really, really funny.
That's so funny.
But that guy's a genius. The guy that did Adolescence is an absolute genius. I can't wait to see what he does next. I can't wait for another season of The Pit. It comes back in January. The studio, I don't know. I love that these streaming shows are starting to get the message and they come back every year as opposed to waiting 3 years to, like Severance. Took like 2 or 3 years to get the season 2 of Severance. It's like, no, crank these things out so we get a season every year.
And I love that Trammell Tillman won.
Oh, yeah.
So glad he won.
Yeah,
I love that for the first time since its inception, the bear won nothing.
Won nothing. Exactly.
And I don't mean to always rag on The Bear, but like they did in the show, it's not a comedy.
Okay,
So-
I want to make a point. I actually thought this season of The Bear, I guess it would be season 4, had funny stuff.
Oh, it did? I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Oh yeah, there was funny stuff in there. And honestly, one of my favorite performances of the year was 𝐈𝐬𝐬 Adeev in a scene where she was at her hairdresser's house. It was only 3 people. It was silly. It was funny. It was goofy. It was heartwarming. I thought it had everything. And I think that's the one that 𝐈𝐬𝐬 Adeev was nominated for Best Director for. Best Director of a Comedy Series. She was not there, interestingly. My theory is she was nominated for Supporting Actress and for Directing. I thought maybe she got COVID and she couldn't come, something like that. Because why else, if you're nominated for Director and Actress, why would you not make time to be there?
Unless she's shooting something somewhere else.
That's the other thing. She could be shooting
Right.
somewhere else. I was surprised that 𝐒𝐭𝐫𝐽 Bates did not win.
That's what's her name from Britt Lowry? Is that her name?
Yeah,
Lowry?
Britt Lower. I was
Lower-
happy that Hannah Einbinder won.
Yeah, I knew she was going to win.
I
Yeah.
thought so too. I think she absolutely deserves it. I thought that Shrinking might have stolen an award or two along the way, but it didn't. I love that show. It's really funny. Harrison Ford is terrific in it. I love Jason Segel. In fact, we're going to talk about Freaks and Geeks coming up. Jason Segel is from that show, was a part of the original cast. I thought Shrinking might steal an award or two, but it did not. Have you seen Shrinking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show.
There is so much coming on. Like all these shows are breaking all at once now. And I don't know how to keep, like, Morning Show, Murders in the Building. I'm watching a show called The Girlfriend on Prime, which is really good with Robin Wright.
Oh, no, I
Excellent show.
haven't seen it.
Really, really good. Task, which is the new Mark Ruffalo show
Oh,
on HBO.
I've only seen one episode because when I watched it, only one episode was out. So
Season 3 of The Diplomat is coming out, and I love The Diplomat. I just went back and watched season 2, so there's so much. It's like you go from bust to boom in terms of the number of shows you can be watching and the number of shows that are out there. I wanted to ask you real quick. You had a couple of Osbourne's reunion shows. Tell me what happened.
they weren't reunion shows; they were reunion parties.
Reunion parties.
So last week, what happened was we were going to do just one,
Right.
and then one of the key players on the show, he was here for the creative Emmys. He originally was going to be here for the regular Emmys,
Yep.
and then they changed the category. They changed it. So, and he came from Spain, and he couldn't be here for the big party. So we did a separate kind of smaller, mostly crew people, because he was out in the field a lot. He was pretty much in charge of the field. So we did that, and that was at the Rainbow Room,
Nice.
which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jack Osbourne showed up,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
was really sweet.
Yeah.
And just the history of that place. I mean, just all the beautiful, like, black and white photos and, like, really great iconic photos of Ozzy and Sharon.
Nice.
So that was great. And that was just kind of hanging out in the bar. And then last night we went to this really cool place downtown called Boomtown Brewery. And
Okay.
it's a big industrial space. And so it was, a lot of the editors and a lot of the same people came to that as well. But it was a bigger crowd. And Sharon, one of the executive producers, both executive producers actually who were there, are still very good friends with the family. So Sharon knew that we were doing this, and
Yep.
it was myself and 4 other people who put it together.
Yep.
And she wrote a note to everybody who showed up. And, she thanked me and
That's
Greg
nice.
and everybody, and then said, you're all fucking crazy. I love you. And, when we had a toast to Ozzy, and it was really, really great.
Oh, that's very cool. Very
That
cool.
was fun.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, I just have one thing to say.
Yeah,
okay?
I knew you had something else. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So I went to see Chicago at the Hollywood Bowl on Sunday, right?
What? Oh, the band or the musical?
The band
The band.
Chicago.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And I didn't know who the opening act was going to be. It turns out that it was Christopher Cross. So you got your yacht rock going on.
Oh, it is so yacht rock.
He was amazing.
Christopher Cross?
His voice is exactly the same. The band was great. Talk about horn section, and we're going to talk to the Potash guys about the horns. Just unbelievable. So Chicago comes on, and I think it's only one guy from the original band, but they were really, really great. And a couple of the guys in the band, even though they weren't the original, were pretty old, and they were like really held their own. So probably like maybe 3/4 of the way through the concert, I was just kind of going like that with the back of my hair, just playing with my hair.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I feel somebody kind of touching my hair, and
really?
I thought it was Tom, and it wasn't Tom. I turn around, there's this older Indian guy behind me, and I looked at him, and he kind of had like a weird kind of like creepy grin, and I said, "Did you just like touch my hair?" And he said, "Yeah. Do you have a problem with that?" And I said, "Do I have a problem with it?" He says, "Did that bother you?" And I said, "Yes, it bothered me." I said, "Who are you? What is wrong with you? You just touch some stranger's hair?" He thought it was funny. And I said, it's really creepy. And
it is creepy.
Don't touch my hair. Leave my hair alone.
Did he leave you alone after that?
He did, but it was just the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me. You know?
That is very strange. Christopher Cross. Can we go back to Christopher Cross?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so back in the day, me and Ireland were doing mornings, and we were on 2 radio stations and on Fox Sports West. And so we called it the triple cast. And we had weird musical guests come in all the time. So Christopher Cross came in to perform, which was really cool, right? It was the day Mike Piazza was traded to the Florida Marlins. So when Christopher Cross performed Sailing Away, they showed highlights of Mike Piazza playing for the Dodgers. It was so weirdly genius. It was just like...
It's great.
It was amazing. Amazing. And by the way, then his voice was... Christopher Cross is, when it comes to yacht rock, he's top of the list.
His voice sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
Did you know his daughter produced the documentary Yacht Rock?
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he mentioned it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It's right down there. Leave us a comment or a review or a show idea. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, subscribe to the show. Big points if you leave us a 5-star rating and a good review. And if you got a friend that would appreciate the Culture Pop podcast, tell them about it. Get them to subscribe. We always want more viewers and always want more listeners. All right, so we got a really cool thing planned here. Our guest is beloved from Freaks and Geeks, Party Down, Silicon Valley. He now stars in Taylor Sheridan's smash hit Tulsa King, which premieres on Sunday, September the 21st on Paramount+. Plus, he, along with the Potash Twins, who will join us as well, have invented Sweet Stash Jams, a brand new gummy candy that is available now online and a bunch of retailers. So we're going to welcome to the show right now, Martin Starr. Martin, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to talk about Tulsa King. I want to talk about your candy, Sweet Stash Jams, but you were on a legendary television show called Freaks and Geeks. It lasted only 18 episodes. It launched your career and Seth Rogen and Linda Cardinelli and James Franco and Jason Segel and on and on. You guys were all young. You were 16, I think.
Yes. I'm just going to correct you briefly because it's Linda Cardellini, but you're not the only person that's called her Linda Cardinelli, so it's a running joke in her life. But I just want to, if she watches this, I want her to know that I stood up for her when push came to shove.
Good. So you were really young when this happened. How did it all come together, and what do you think the legacy of this show is?
I mean, you're watching it a little bit in the studio right now with Seth winning so many Emmy Awards for what in some ways was really started while we were shooting Freaks and Geeks because of the way that the executives then, dealt with our show at that time. I mean, we started off with a pretty rough life lesson in how this business works. Because just to be totally fair, a lot of the executives that were there, except for the man in charge, a lot of the executives there really loved our show, and they were as confused as we were as to why we weren't really getting the support that we deserved. But at NBC, we were kind of a beloved show, except when when it all fell apart. But there were hints that we were not going to make it the distance, and then those ended up coming true. I mean, I don't know if you know the full story, but we shot the final episode around episode 13 because Judd had a premonition that we were not going to get to finish our season. And a traditional season at that time on television was 22 episodes. And so we didn't really get a full season in certain ways, but we got 18, which was more than we expected going into that second half of the season.
It's pretty mind-boggling when you think of how amazing the show was and how years after it got so many accolades, and you're at the Paley Center and people are, there are two shows, in my opinion, that were prematurely canceled, and it was Freaks and Geeks and My So-Called Life.
Oh yeah,
which
we were compared to them a lot.
Kind of dealt in the same arena,
yeah.
And they were important shows because I graduated high school in 75. Of 74, I graduated a year early, so 75 was really my year.
Not to brag, but you were
not
smart.
to brag.
You
know what? No, but I want to say something about that. I was not really smart. I was a good student, not really smart. All I had to do is take English in summer school, and I skipped 11th grade.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
So you were smart because you figured out, you hacked the system.
Right. You gamed the system. Exactly.
Right. Well, I had a lot of friends who were my age, and I had a lot of friends who were a year older than me. So I wanted to hang out with my friends who were older than me. So I wanted to leave high school. But anyway, when I think of that time, and I think of the groups which were portrayed so realistically for that era, Freaks. I was a stoner, so Freaks, stoners. There were greasers, which you guys didn't have. There were jocks. And then there were the geeks. And the stoners kind of floated in every group. Even the jocks kind of floated into our group because even though they were more of drinkers, they did smoke pot.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that it was just portrayed so realistically, my remembrance of growing up. And then, of course, the writing was great. The acting was great. The stories were just... It was such an amazing show.
It's all drawn from the writers' lives. And if I remember correctly, Judd just said, "Tell me your stories from childhood," and everybody broke out the most embarrassing and strange and uniquely them stories. And a lot of those ended up on the screen. The garage door episode, where Neil is looking for the house that this garage door clicker belongs to, and finds his dad was messing around on his mom, is from a real story from one of our writers,
Wow.
And it wasn't, everything I think feels especially real because it is, because all those details are really coming from life experience.
So I want to ask you about a specific scene. Your character, Bill, is eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watching Dallas on TV. And it kind of captures what it's like, that adolescence period and being a geek and all that stuff. Judd Apatow has said it's his favorite scene in the whole series. What was it like shooting that scene? What do you remember about it?
I remember Judd and one of our writers, whose name evades me at the moment, and he can call me an asshole when I see him next, were basically just coming up with the most gross humor that they could to make me laugh as hard as they could. Because the audio, I wasn't getting the same audio as you're seeing in the episode, and they were just saying the most disgusting jokes that they could, pulled from everyone, pulled from their lives, or just kind of riffing to make me laugh. And so that's what I remember most. It's just like having a great time. I mean, for that to be the start of anyone's career, it's a real bummer finishing out the rest of a career in this business, because we were so we were treated with such care and love, and we're so fortunate to have the family that was created in that process. Judd and Paul were such nurturing fathers to our group, not only in helping us do our best for the good of the show and for the good of our performances, and feeling comfortable there and being able to be present, because a lot of us were pretty young. But they also protected us from the studio and a lot of the more difficult parts of the process that you're often forced to deal with at any age in this business. And so we were shielded from a lot of that. But they also were very particular about who they brought on as the crew. We had such an incredible crew and such a incredibly present and respectful and nurturing group of people, top to bottom. Really, really lucky for that to have been the way that I was introduced to really working in the manner that I got to then in this business as a, I had worked a little bit when I was younger, but nothing. That was the first time I really got to sink my teeth into acting, into a character.
I got to say, I've written on shows and I've produced shows, and to me, there's nothing more frustrating and just infuriating about executives that just don't get it. And I read that one of the executives, I don't know if it was Garth Ansey, I don't remember which executive it was, but he actually said that he didn't get the whole public high school kind of scene because he went to private school. And It's like, well, then you can't talk about it. You can't even have an opinion about it because you never, ever experienced it. Of course you don't know about it. You didn't live it.
He said it was unrelatable. I was like, yeah, well, our audience aren't executives, so they're going to get it.
Absolutely. And people did get, here we are, it's years and years later, we're still talking about the show, which is a testament to exactly how great it was. Now you're doing Tulsa King, which
That's
is
true.
Taylor Sheridan show, Paramount Plus. I'm going to ask the stupid question.
Okay.
What's Sylvester Stallone like? What's it like doing scenes with him?
It's really fun. It's such a weird twist of fate to be in a position that I am now, working with a total legend. I guess you last long enough in this career and it's bound to happen at some point, but I'm lucky to have lasted long enough in this business to be here for the chapter where I'm working with Sylvester Stallone, of all people.
Amazing.
So it's been a real interesting ride, there's as any show has, there's always kind of some difficult hurdles you got to get through, but we've made it 3 seasons, and Sly is such a hard worker that I can't help but look up to his work ethic and the way that he cares so deeply about this show and puts so much of himself into it, and is always trying to make it better. And that is also how I look at it. We clearly have very different paths that we take to get to the end, but everything is a collaboration, and he's just as aware of that as anybody. So he's so appreciative to have so many different voices to help bring this thing to life. But he's really thinking about everyone. He's in some ways doing everyone's job a little bit, and is obviously incredibly capable.
That's kind of the job of being number one on the call sheet, right?
I don't know that that's the case. In this case, it is, I'm very appreciative to have his brain working in all regards when it comes to how we make the show. But it's not always the case. He is a very hands-on number one.
I really like
capable man.
I love how they write for his character and I'm sure he has a lot to do with that as well, because I know he writes. But there was one specific line where he said to, I think it was the FBI agents, he said, wait by your phone, for a call. And they were like, hey, old man, and he's showing your age. Nobody waits by their phone anymore. And that was just so perfect. But I think I just want to go back to Freaks and Geeks just for a second, because I think of your character on Freaks and Geeks, and I think that if Bill was like a real guy, I could see him being Bodhi later in life. It just seems so perfect that you were cast in this role.
Look, there are different companies that made the shows, so I can't legally talk about the connection. But you can fantasize about it all you want. I'm on board.
So, Bodhi, you started out, obviously you got the dispensary, and you're a fun character, and then by the end of season 2, you get all wrapped up in the Kansas City crew and the Tulsa crew and all that stuff. Your character has evolved. Talk about that.
It's fun. I mean, it's nice to watch the direction that the writing has taken, and this season we go a little bit more in that direction. It is a drama. I was fully aware that my participation was going to be on the comedic side, but regardless, it's still a drama. So those storylines have to edge in all of our character driven paths together. Like, I can't just be the guy that pops in for a little quip here and there. It's underusing my skill, I would like to hope. Anyway, so we'll see how you feel about me having a more dramatic turn. But I get to play more of the dramatic stuff this season, and none of the comedy is lost either, so I still get to do that. But I also think there's a richness in the comedy when you can feel the full depth of a character, and it's not just, broad comedies have never really left me with much impact. I've never really gravitated towards them, because grounded, character-driven comedy is story-driven, like realistic. When I can feel the story and the important, the true drive of it, the comedy resonates much deeper.
Well, I love your character because he's just so dry. I mean, he's such a, there is so much humor. There's corniness. There's violence, but not too much violence where you're like, I don't even want to watch it. I want to know in
what's that threshold for you? What's I don't even want to watch it. Where's do you have to see like a nose hanging off the skull, or is it?
Well, I'll tell you.
Where's your boundary?
Well,
I'll tell you. We don't want to cross it next season.
I'll tell you.
I'm doing research right now.
I appreciate that. I look at shows like I really liked Game of Thrones, but it was brutal to get through. I mean, there were times where I just had to look away, but the story was great, and I love the show. Because it's mob stuff, it's like you think of like mob movies, you think of, like even, like The Sopranos, and even The Sopranos had a lot of comedy in it. So, again, like you said,
and we got the same, Terrence Winter has been a part of this from the beginning. So
that's right.
We have the great fortune of, alumni from Sopranos, and that voice being a part of our show. Very fortunate.
I don't even know if there is a mob anymore. Maybe there's a mob. Maybe they're out there.
There is.
Is there for real a mob?
There is. It's on Paramount Plus.
Yes.
This Sunday. No, they're. But I do. I don't want them to kill me. So there's no mob left. They're all gone.
So Samuel L. Jackson is joining the cast this year. That's a lot of star power. His movies have made more money than anybody in the history of the world. How does he fit into the story and the Taylor Sheridan universe?
Very seamlessly, and the intention is for him to spin off and have his own show, which I think they announced already. So he's going off to do NOLA King. And this will be another, big umbrella thing for Taylor to spin these off into all the new kings of America, I guess. But he's a very nice guy. He fits in really well on our show. It's I can't talk too much about it because it will just unfold, and I don't want to ruin any spoilers. But he's such a nice guy and obviously incredibly capable, but very respectful and quiet, more quiet than you would have expected.
Yeah. Is Taylor Sheridan? What's he like on set? I mean, is there changes? A lot of changes, or pretty much what you got? The script is pretty
genuinely
much.
Wouldn't know. He hasn't ever been on set, at least when I've been there.
Oh, wow.
He created the show in so much as it being his idea, but he has such a vast world of shows that he's creating constantly that I think this one, the intention was to hand it off to someone who understood the world of mob and mafia as well as Terrence Winter. And so they worked on the first season together, but I think he was working on other stuff while we were shooting our first season. So I never met him. I know Sly and he have a relationship and get along, and that's how this all was spawned. But I have yet to meet the guy, to be honest. I would be more than happy to, but just the opportunity hasn't arisen.
It sounds like the Taylor Sheridan universe is like a well-oiled machine, right?
He's got something. He really caught a hold of the dragon tail. That's a new saying I'm working on. So,
is that right? Say it again.
Yeah. He really caught a hold of the dragon tail.
Oh, I like that.
I like it.
That. I'm going to run with that.
I'm not going to
run
with it. I'm actually going to give you credit for it.
I
don't know how I feel now that I've said it out loud.
Yeah, actually, Sue, you take the dragon tail.
Hey, I'm not. No, I'm going to give it to my dog. My dog's over there.
Dragon tail is officially out. Time to talk some candy, and we are now joined by Ezra and Adeev Potash, who've been called the Twin Horns of Joy. They are multi-platinum musicians who have worked with artists like John Legend, Snoop Dogg, and the Jonas Brothers. They've also composed music for Disney and RuPaul's Drag Race, and their latest venture is Sweet Stash Jams with Martin. It is a brand new candy line. Guys, thanks very much for coming on. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having us.
So tell me how, the three of you, tell me how you know each other and how this candy project came together.
Well, we first met Martin, 4 years ago at the Big Slick, which is an amazing charity weekend in Kansas City for Children's Mercy Hospital, put on by Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis, Rob Riggle, and a few others. And
Rob Riggle started it years and years ago, like 17 years ago. He went to a fundraiser for Mercy Children's Hospital. And this is the way he told me the story anyway. And afterward, he decided he could do better. Not that was, but he was just like, I think I can help make this a bigger fundraising venture. And he has every year since he started doing it with the help of his family and the families of all of the namesakes that are on the marquee, Jason Sudeikis and Paul Rudd, and all of their wonderful families play such a big part in bringing the whole event to life every year. And I think now we've raised close to $20 million, something like that.
Oh, I think we're close to
$30 million. And every year it's grown exponentially. But yeah, we met at that event 4 years ago.
And then one thing led to another. We started hanging out in LA, and then we realized we were both obsessed with candy. Well, every conversation would be about candy. Then we were like, oh, it still is. It still is about candy. And one thing kind of led to another, and he would show us his favorite candy. We would show us our favorite candy, and we were like, what would happen if we made our own candy? And then after a series of ridiculous events, we started a candy company.
So
about a year ago.
What was your favorite candies prior to your candy?
I'm gonna let Martin handle that first.
I mean, the boys are more specific in what they like, in that they don't branch out as much. They're willing to try, but they've got the Venn diagram of their candy likes versus mine. I just have a much bigger circle. But it embodies what they also like. There's a Norwegian chocolate that I really love that has little bits of toffee in it, and that's what I would gravitate towards if I'm looking for a toffee chocolate situation, crunchy and sweet and salty a little bit. But gummy is what all three of us really love, and so that's why we started with a gummy candy. And who knows where we'll go from here, but certainly starting with what we all love the most. I mean, if I was going to grab any candy, it would be a gummy candy. If I was getting on a flight or going on a road trip or, going to the movies, that would be the first option for me if I was looking for something sweet.
And so, for us, literally, gummies is the only category of candy we really enjoy. Like he was just talking about his favorite chocolate Frey from Norway, and it's great, but it doesn't do anything for us. I think
it's really great though. I don't love milk chocolate. Like in general, I wouldn't eat a milk chocolate, but when I tried that, it's like under the same umbrella. They've got a toffee with the same company, so they incorporated the two into one chocolate bar. It is spectacular. But that's if you like chocolate, and these guys are allergic, definitely allergic. So I know how to, if I ever need to do it, I know how to get rid of them. But
Death by Candy.
Death by Candy is a good autobiography.
I think candy in general is kind of, oddly enough, like an incredibly personal thing, whatever you end up gravitating towards. Because every time I walk by the candy aisle, I pretty much just only look at the gummies. Like, well, I know Martin would be looking at every single thing, looking for what's new, looking for something that he's never seen before. Both D and I just go straight to the gummy section, and that's the only place we look because we're obsessed with it. But one thing I love about candy as well is, like you were saying, everyone has such a personal attachment, but everybody loves sharing candy with people, and it's a very approachable
except for Ellen. Except for one of our partners, Ellen.
Packaging design. She does not like sharing, but
yeah. Oh yeah, you're doing it?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Normally I eat gummies that are a little stronger, but they're very good.
These are strong in a different way. They're strong in flavor.
So who invented it? Like, how do you scientifically put together a candy?
I mean, what we wanted to do first and foremost was go back to basics. We want, over the last 30, 40 years, ingredients have been thrown in because it makes it cheaper. It's filler stuff, corn syrup, for example, or it makes it easier in some way. Gives it a longer shelf life with the color if you use artificial colors. Well, we didn't want to cut those corners. We want to give people what we would want to put in our own bodies, which is not crap. So we paid a lot of attention to the way that it's made. And luckily for us, none of those shitty ingredients that they've put in over the last 30, 40 years make it better. So what we did was just go back to the basics and focused on the quality of the actual gummy, the texture and the taste. And we found out so much in the process. I mean, it was so fun just learning about one of your favorite things. Like, I love candy so much, and I learned so much about the process, but also why the flavors are the way that they are, what kind of acid is actually making it taste sour at the front end as opposed to at the end of the flavor. Like, if you're left with sour at the end, it's a malic acid that's left on your tongue. And when you feel you feel the citric acid at the start. So if it hits your palate immediately, and now, I mean, it's little things, but it is just fun to learn about why I'm tasting what I'm tasting and how that process contributes to the gummy itself and the flavor and the candy. And but yeah, we got really we got in the weeds hardcore with the way that we constructed our flavors. The three of us sat down. I mean, it was mostly D who kind of drafted up the first draft of what our flavors were going to be. he was kind of typing out loud, and Ez and I were chiming in where we thought maybe we could change the way that we said it. But Dee really took charge of that process, and Tessa, who is kind of our candy scientist or chef, who really helped us understand this process, and she understands it much better than we do because she's been working in candy for so long. She helped us understand that what she wanted from us and what we were capable of giving her was greater than just simple flavor options. We don't just want green grape. She wanted us to give her a paragraph on each flavor, and we did that. And if we read you that paragraph, which we don't want to because we don't want to tell all of our competitors exactly how we did it. But if you read that, you would feel the flavor change through the gummy, which is what we asked them to do. And it's really weird that they did it.
Well, they're delicious. They're delicious.
They are. They are. So
you,
two things. So I had one before we did the show. And my husband and I are big gummy fans.
Okay.
And
you're our people, Sue.
Yeah.
Totally your people. So I said to him, the first thing I said to him is that a lot of times I have an issue with gummies because they get caught in my teeth. And to give you maybe too much information, I have 2 bridges. So they get caught even more because of the bridges. And I'm afraid that the bridge is going to come out. And I'm not blowing smoke here. These do not, the consistency of them does not stick to my teeth.
So, Sue, funny enough, first of all, I'm so happy to hear that nothing got stuck in your teeth. But when we started doing this, it was kind of like daunting as like a fantasy. Like, what would we make if we made candy? Like, we didn't know what that process was going to be like at the beginning. And one of the first comments our friend said was, can you guys just make something that doesn't get stuck in my teeth? Because I think the one thing people hate about gummies is they get stuck in your teeth. And so oddly enough, that was kind of a goal of ours, was to have a flavor or multiple flavors that the process was super in depth, something that was kind of reminiscent of like Japanese candy and Swedish candy. And then on the texture side, it was something that we felt like wouldn't be too much of an affront on everybody that we knew that had raised that comment to us.
And the other thing I wanted to say is the choice of flavors. Like, I've never seen white peach in anything, and I love peaches. It's my favorite fruit.
That is more of like a Japanese flavor. I mean, like we didn't pull from them specifically, but like you would see a white peach specifically on a bag in Japan.
That's kind of the thing about the American candy palette is you just hear like grape and it's like purple. In Japan. And in Sweden, the even one single fruit family is very complex, and it's not just like peach is orange or whatever. We like white peach or muscat grape, for example. Each fruit is very complex and it has 12 different variations, and we just wanted to make sure that when you had a grape, it wasn't something you've encountered before, but something that was familiar at the same time.
So I really like the word collab. I think I sound cool when I say it. Collab. You guys are doing a collab.
Whoa,
for
who's that
candy.
cool guy that just popped up on my Zoom screen?
Exactly. So for you guys, Ez and Dee, what is your coolest collab? Like, what in history? What's your favorite collab of all time?
Wow, what a question. Well, I feel like our whole life has been collaborations. Yeah, I think as horn players, we're lucky because in a way, like, we're able to work with so many different kinds of artists just because playing trumpet and trombone kind of works in a lot of different genres. So we've had the great fortune of being able to perform and record and write with, a lot of different artists. But I think, the most recent one we did was with the Jonas Brothers, and that was pretty epic. All so incredibly talented, and they all bring something kind of different about them. Their personalities sort of shine musically as well, which is awesome. And it was for Disney, so the collaboration was on multiple fronts there. It wasn't just like one other artist we were working with. It was a company who's had like a major effect on the world of music, but also they have their own like oeuvre to it. So it was... What did they want? And this was in celebration for Disneyland's 70th anniversary. So we had to hit so many different things, which normally, unless you're doing like music for sync licensing or corporate music, you don't really get told like what exactly should be happening. So when you're working with another artist, you kind of do what they want, but also they do what we would think would be cool. But this particular collaboration was it was just multiples of like what's cool about all of these three things, and how can we put them together to be one cool thing.
Did you mention your own favorite collaboration, or you just to piggyback off mine?
I mean, it's probably got to be our collaboration on Candy, right?
Oh, I mean, without a doubt.
The Candy collab. Come on, the Candy collab.
I also feel like that carries over musically, too, because we wanted to make a Candy that kind of represented musicians in the music world, and there wasn't one out there, so we decided to make one on our own. And, music is universal, and music notes are universal, so would have to add that to one of my favorite collabs, Martin. You're right.
Or was it Busta Rhymes? It's okay if it's Busta Rhymes. Honestly, I respect that.
You guys have been called the twin horns of joy. How, first of all, how do you live up to that sounds so impressive, twin horns of joy. How do you live up to that?
Well, one way musically, horns kind of just are uplifting in general. It's a very loud and obnoxious thing that hits you right in the soul. And I think when you play the horns, like you can do the whole New Orleans thing where it's a march, but it's also sad in some ways. But I think if you use that same energy towards making people happy, the joy just kind of is a side effect of it.
Well, and I think for us, like, we are just generally really happy and excited to be doing the things that we love every day. And I think that comes through musically. And I also we kind of love doing new things all the time. So whenever you do something new, there's sort of this renewed joy to it. Which, perfect example is this candy brand. Like, we've always found something that was new and exciting for us. And I think that kind of just initiates the concept of joy and sort of the feelings of joy. I think a lot of people, they do the same thing every day, and that might get a little stale. But for us, I think we're incredibly lucky that we are able to wake up and do something new and exciting every day. And that makes us happy and it makes us joyful. And if we can kind of show that to other people and bring joy into their lives, that's exactly what we want to do. That's exactly why we wake up and do this.
So how do you get Sweet Stash Jams? Like, do we all contact your publicity your PR person to get them sent direct?
Yeah. We'll give you her number. It is Meg. Are you ready? Let me just make sure I get this right. Right now we have a website up, so we have direct to consumer, but that's not our plan long term. We just want to make sure that we are available to anyone that wants to try it. So sweetstash.com right now, and we're also we have social media handles and stuff, and I think you can link to it through there. But we're currently in distribution in like 40 or 60 places through the Midwest, and then we're expanding. There's like a place in Austin, and in the cities in which we live, I think we're kind of starting there as well. But we are a Midwest company. We're manufacturing in Omaha, our first round, and I think our second round will be in Chicago, maybe.
89.
But we're staying Midwest, and we are Midwest roots. The boys are from Omaha, and their best friend, who's a big part of this company as well, from childhood, Yoni, Jonathan Doughton, is he's also from Omaha, so the roots are there, and we're starting there, and we just want to share this with people who are willing to try something new. And I think it's smart for us to start local with people with an area that we know and a demographic that we are familiar with, and sharing it local and finding people who love it, and hopefully eventually it'll be on every shelf in the U.S., but we're going to start, every shelf in the world, but we're starting locally so that we can get the people who love it as much as we do. And expand.
I just want to add one thing that personally, and I think Martin feels the same way and Dee feels the same way.
Let's see. Hold on.
Well, I think you'll agree. We're incredibly overwhelmed by the amount of support that we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Like, we've been working really, really hard at this, all of us, but the day that it started to come out, we were so blown away by the support that everybody's been showing us. I mean, we started this as a passion project. Like, Martin and Dee and I didn't get in this to be entrepreneurs. We did this because we wanted to make gummies better, and we wanted to make better gummies for us and our friends and our family and our audiences. And we're just so overwhelmed by the amount of support we've gotten so far. I'm so excited to see where it's going to keep going because it started off pretty great.
And even just to say, like, we're going to be in 100 locations by the end of this month sounds crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Every little bit has been such a fun ride, like to watch this thing grow from nothing to having almost 100 locations of distribution is pretty insane, because it started off with this, like, is it happening? Like, here we are talking about, like, getting flavors, and we had a meeting with Tessa, and she's like, all right, describe to me the flavors you want to see. And every step of the way, I've been like, is this really happening? And now I get to open a bag of our candy and think, holy shit, I made this. I made this with the help of some of my great friends. And I, like, obviously a community it takes to get to this point, but I made this. This is my candy.
Martin, I remember that day too. Like, we had gone through hundreds and hundreds of flavors before we were like, this one is it. Like, this.
There were two flavors that it was like, these are done. And I remember when we first started flavor testing. God, tell me if any of our weird candy stories bore the hell out of you.
No, I'm interested.
We were sitting on Zoom, much like this. The boys were in Omaha, and I was, or maybe they were in Palm Springs at the time, and I was in LA, and we were like trying our first round of candy flavors, and they came in these little round buttons, not the shape that you see there, because we hadn't set up our molds yet. And the first thing we tried was prickly pear, and I was like, I think this one's pretty good. And the boys were like, no, like, let's not jump in too deep here, like. And we were using like a number ranking system, and I was like, I give that one an 8. Like, I think that might be pretty close to done, 8 out of 10. And they were like, I don't know. And then we tried all the rest of them, and we got back to prickly pear again, and they were like, I think prickly pear is done. I think we're good. I think we're solid. And that was that one and blue jazzberry. I think we didn't touch at all. We just kind of lucked out that those two were spot on from the beginning.
I just remember that when we had finalized all 6 of the flavors, when Martin, you were like, oh my God, this is a real thing. Yeah. Like, we're done with this part of the process and we're on to packaging. And I just remember that day you called.
He almost didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I remember you being like, I don't know, like, I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. And then one day you're like, our candy company's out.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, sitting down with my other friend, Ellen Van Dusen, who I brought into this whole venture, who's so incredibly talented, and she designed the packaging. And I was in New York at one point, and we were just kind of working together at her desk, and I was throwing out ideas to, like, because she's so busy that it was kind of hard to nail her down for a time to just, like, get it done. And we sat, and a lot of what we came up with that day, other than the actual logo, is 𝐓𝐷𝐬𝐿𝐼. My friends Darren and Emmeline, who are incredible artists, and they go by 𝐷𝐬𝐿𝐼. They kind of did this logo, and we ended up throwing that on after, but everything else was Ellen just putting her heart into it and me trying to tweak it or giving her kind of small notes and letting her run with it. But this whole process has just been friends talking about something they love, and it's somehow materializing into this cool thing that we now get to share with anybody who's interested.
It's a triumph. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Congratulations on it. I want to we appreciate you guys doing this. Martin Starr, Taylor Sheridan's Tulsa King Paramount Plus premieres September the 21st. You guys, how do we get the candy? What's the website?
Sweetstash.com.
Okay. And anything else you guys want to plug, as and D?
No, I hope you love it as much as we do. Oh, you just said as and D. Yeah. No, you guys take it away. Sorry. What a dick. I can't believe.
For those of you that weren't paying attention to Martin and kind of drowned him out, he said, we hope you guys love it as much as we do.
And we do. We do. Martin as D, thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations on the candy. And Martin, congratulations on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Steve and Sue.
There you have it. By the way, what we do is a collab, right? This is a collab is a cool thing. Like, you want to have collabs.
Totally. And you want to have, like, collab energy.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what those guys did. And they come up with delicious candy. It's absolutely delicious. And thank you to them for sending it to us. We'll give you the contact for their PR agency, and you can email them, and they will send you candy.
You know, at first
that's
I thought
how we got it.
I know. I mean, I at first I thought when we got presented with these guys coming on the show, I thought they were gummies, like gummies, like, you know, like get
Stoner
high
gummies?
gummies.
Yeah, no,
Stoner
they're not.
Gummies.
I've been eating them for an hour. I'm not stoned.
And I thought, well, how appropriate because of the character that Martin plays on Tulsa King.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a great tie-in.
Yeah, by the way, Tulsa King is so much fun. It's
is.
a fun show. Like, Stallone is fun. His character, Martin's character, is really I mean, yeah, there's some violence, and yeah, there's some intrigue, but it's basically Stallone at his very best. He's got a sly, pun intended, sense of humor, and it comes out during the performance, I think.
Yeah, and good chemistry too. I mean, he and Dana Delaney are just fun together. You know? Yeah.
All right, so I got to get to the real gummies. I've eaten these, no buzz. I am going to go get my real gummies now. Sue Ballou, great seeing you, and we will see everybody next time on the Culture Pop Podcast.